when I was younger, I spent almost 5 years living in Europe and all over the world. And this is kind of like a miracle to be able to connect with so many people in different countries, and not having to leave my office here, my bedroom. I mean, it's really interesting. But I'm very grateful for this, because this is really an international work. It's a work for people, we're all just human beings. We all have chakras. We all have a connection to God. What we all need to learn is how to build consciousness. And that's what these classes are for. So I'm very grateful, to be doing this, to be connecting with people all over Europe and Israel and in the Americas, yesterday, Brazil, Ecuador, Mexico, United States. And I like to see it grow. I like to see people come, especially when people have a real need for a spiritual life, because that really inspires me to do this work. I'm not interested in people, well, I can only come on a Monday or once a month, but people that really show a commitment and they want a spiritual life, they want to learn, how to build a system inside that is strong enough to have a spiritual life. And it inspires me to do this work. Well, I must admit, sometimes I get very tired, especially on a Sunday when there's 60 people that come to these meditation classes. But what to do? I would rather be doing this work than sitting around, in Palm Beach somewhere with, drinking martinis and Coco Locos, and basking in the sun. To me, it's a bore. As you get older, life shouldn't be a bore. It should have something amazing going on that really inspires you to live every day. And I find that these Zoom classes are really providing that. They're a real inspiration for me to, grow inside myself, to work inside myself, to get more deeply connected to God and spirit, and to take everybody that attends them into my heart. Because everybody that attends these classes, you can't be here because, you just want to mess around for an hour, on a Wednesday evening, There has to be something real inside you that wants to learn what is being taught in these classes. And to me, that's an inspiration, and it inspires me to go very deeply in myself and to allow them to grow, because if the classes grow, then I will grow. I have to get bigger inside to be able to really support the energy of these classes. So what I'm saying is that it's kind of a miracle. As I say, all my life I've traveled, last year I traveled 98,000 miles by airplane to teach meditation and to look around and see how life changes. I'm sitting here at my desk with people in probably 10 different countries, sitting and working on themselves, doing meditation, doing deep inner work. And I think it's amazing. It's the same thing, except, I guess, when I complained about it, I said, I'm really tired of traveling. It's too much. I'm going to kill myself. Maybe God heard me. I hate to say that I'm responsible for coronavirus, but maybe God heard me, created the situation so that we can connect and people can connect and, all over the world, do deep meditation. I learn, you learn, we all grow together. And I think in a very wonderful way, it's a way of sharing one's life, sharing everything I've learned in my life with people that truly want to learn how to grow inside themselves. And I think, to me, that's a great miracle. And it makes me very grateful to do this and come here and sit down here and see all of you, being involved in these classes. And not just once, people coming back again and again. And that inspires my teachings to go really deep inside, to tap new areas, that I hadn't tapped before in order to transmit that kind of energy. So we'll have a meditation, and if anyone has a question after the class, I'll be happy to try and answer it. And again, God bless you all for being here, for doing this, you know, and I'm just very grateful to sit and do this and share this Shakti and energy with all of you. So we'll have a meditation class. If anyone has a question, I'll be happy to try and answer.
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, please, 1 second. Everybody try and sit still, okay? No, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
I wanted to know what your thoughts are on the divine source, which is the source of everything, consciousness and thought.
You want that in 2 books or 3 books? Well, look, it's very simple. We'll try to break it down here. I mean, look, we're born on the earth. Each and every one of us has a soul. Every living thing has a soul, you know, and the soul needs to learn stuff that it's here to learn. Mostly it needs to learn to transform the difficulties of living in this world into a spiritual life. And, you know, the divine God, whatever you want to call it, it's infinite energy in the universe. It's energy without limitation. But it's energy so powerful that if we don't take our time and use it to build a system inside, that energy, it could burn us up. It'll never enter us. We don't have the strength inside to be able to absorb in our soul, the soul of the universe. So meditation is about building an inner life that is strong enough to do this. It's a marriage of the divine and the human. The divine soul, I think they call it the Atman, and the human soul. But that marriage can't take place if we don't develop inside enough inner strength to be able to receive that divine energy. So that's, you know, you see, that's really what meditation is all about. Meditation is, yeah, it's about relaxing and, you know, learning to live a little better and this and that. But ultimately, after you master those things, it's about the marriage of the human soul with the divine soul. That marriage takes place when we activate Kundalini, because Kundalini is the pathway to enlightenment. So in order to receive that divine soul, that higher energy, we need to build a chakra system that's strong enough to do it. And if we don't have that inner strength, you know, that energy is so powerful, it could burn us up. So we're here to learn how to transform all the obstructions, all the blocks, all the difficulties we have in ourselves into a system that can receive God, that can open and receive divine energy. So we got to quiet the mind, we have to quiet the emotions, we have to quiet sexual energy, we have to be able to become a master of our inner selves and use all those energies as a way of developing the chakra system. Once the chakra system begins to seriously get developed, we can receive the energy of God. That energy comes to it. And what does it bring? It brings knowledge, it brings wisdom, it brings love, it brings joy, it brings ananda. It brings the highest levels of what it means to a human being living on the earth. But that's our job. You understand? That's not God's job. It's our job. We have to do it. If we don't do it, we have reincarnation. We come back again and again, and we go through all these rounds of, you know, the kind of nonsense that goes on in this world, the enormous amount of suffering, the difficulty that goes on in this world, until we finally learn how to do this. And I think it's the reason why people are born on the earth, to learn how to do this. And then we evolve to another plane of consciousness where there's something else that we have to learn. It doesn't stop. There's always something. Knowledge is infinite. So we need to build a system that's strong enough to free ourselves from karma. And how do you free yourself from karma? Karma of the earth, of living in this endless round of polarity of right, wrong, good, bad, positive, negative. You know, you have to build a system inside that's strong enough to do it. And the ultimate way is, you know, it's almost trite. God is love. That's the ultimate goal of all of this. Happiness, love, joy, kindness, compassion, keeping an open heart. That's how you work out your karma. So all of it is, you know, it all works together. It's like a big soup, and it has a lot of ingredients in the soup. But when the soup is really made well, when we develop a chakra system inside, you understand, the soup becomes delicious. Life becomes a delicious thing instead of a royal pain in the neck that drives us crazy every day. So I think it's an important thing to learn, and instead of complaining about how difficult the world is, build it in a life that's strong enough to deal with it. And I don't mean in an egotistical way where we're beating up life. You know, I mean in an open way, in a loving way, in a compassionate way. That takes much more strength than interacting with life with ego. To interact with life with compassion, with love, with joy. And to do that, a human being needs to be really strong inside, because there's so much in life that tests us all the time. We're constantly being afflicted by all this stuff that goes on in the world. So the meditation, its purpose is simply this, what I'm talking about, to build that kind of inner life. And that enables us to live a creative life, you know. I mean, prior to me having met my teacher, I was kind of a gypsy kid, and I thought I was being creative, and I wanted to be a writer, and I would write and write and write and write. But I was really nuts when I was young. He taught me how to channel all that energy. And then life became 1,000 times more creative and 1,000 times less crazy. That's the work. That's the work of meditation. That's inner work. Any spiritual practice that a person does. You know, it's not to worship the guru and, you know, all this stuff, the religion and the dogma and everything that goes on, you know. It's truly to learn how to build a life that is strong enough to transform all the obstructions into an ability to connect with God. And I think, to me, it's an amazing way to live. You know, look, I'm not a kid anymore. I also, after so many years of doing this, have to work at this every day. Or I find that I even begin to build obstructions. You know, I have to work at this. I saw my teacher work at this every day. And I never was around an energy like my teacher in my life. I never saw anybody like him. That power, that Shakti, that wisdom, that force that used to come out of him. And yet every single day he would work on himself and break himself down. Never ever took his growth for granted, his position in life for granted. I once remember walking in, he had a gallery, a very big gallery in New York. I walked in there one day and he was sitting there stringing beads. I mean, this is my, you know, just sitting there with one bead after the others. And I looked, I said, Rudy, I said, what? He said, Stuart, I'm incapable of anything else today. That's what he told me. He said, the energy is so powerful inside me that, you know, you got to do something. So I'll string beads. today. That's all I can do today. You know, and I kind of laughed when I said, my God, what a humility, what an acceptance of God and energy and life and a difficult time he was going through in that day. And he found that beads became sacred for him, and he was stringing beads. You understand? That's consciousness. It's the recognition you can't fight the inevitable. You know, you have to open and find out how to work with it during your day so that you allow this higher force in the universe to really work on you and to change you and to help you to grow. I mean, it's the human will applied consciously and the divine will. And if the human will is not applied consciously, and by that I mean using it to open inside and develop a strong inner life, the divine will is not going to work for us. We create all the obstructions. We keep the universe, God, spirit, whatever, from flowing through us and helping to create our lives. So then we have to use our will to do what? To build a system inside that can allow higher energy to come in. So it's a partnership. But, human beings have to do their part. Otherwise, God bless what goes on in life because of people's egos and wills and trying to control each other and who knows better and right and wrong and that. We live in a madhouse. I wrote a book called Madness Falling from the Sky. I started this book 20 years ago, and it's exactly what we have today, madness falling from the sky. You look out at the world, what's going on is beyond all belief, And I didn't even make that title up. I got it from a poem I read when I was 25 years old in Paris. In a bookstore, I found this book of poems by Rabindranath Tagore. And one of the lines in the poem was madness falling from the sky. I never forgot the line. 40 years later, I put it in a book. It became the title of my book. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart.
Hi.
Can you talk about the external world as Maya?
I just did for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so I guess it's the same. Okay.
It's all a dream. It's all, it comes, it goes, it's limited, and we take it so seriously and we allow it to control, and mess up our lives. And it's, look, you never know. Every day there's something else that takes for some other drama. I once wrote in I wrote a book of just aphorisms, like 200 aphorisms, all original. And one of them was, all this Maya, this illusion of life, it's like a fart in a hurricane, I mean, it really is. It smells for a second, then the wind just blows it away. And then you have another drama and another drama. And it's all in the external world. And everybody's trying to fix the drama.
It's 2 o'clock.
Instead of fixing themselves. You can only fix the external world by fixing yourself. And that really is what we try to do, fix ourselves. So that we look out at the world and we see, we see that everything in life is a manifestation of spirit. We bow to it, we open to it, we let it teach us, instead of letting it destroy us and hurt us. What do I have to learn from all of this? But you got to have the strength inside to do this. I mean, if you're upset about the external world, fix yourself and the external world will change. My external world changed. I fixed myself, still fixing myself. And it changed. The whole thing changed. The way I see life is, I mean, I'm not the same person I was 25 years ago. It all changed because I fixed a lot of me inside. I see the world differently. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart?
Yes?
I want to ask you how it is. In the beginning, it is very hard, isn't it? Because we have...
No, the beginning is to bring the focal point of your attention to the chakra just below the navel. That's the first step in the meditation.
Okay.
And the next step is to open the heart. You understand? Because the heart is not going to open unless there's some foundation. There's something for it to rest upon. I always say it's like a flower, you know, it needs a stem, it needs roots in order to blossom. The heart is like a flower. It needs foundation, it needs roots. So the first step is to bring your attention below the navel. The next step is gratitude. That's simple. Just feeling gratitude for life. That will open the heart.
But my question is how it's for you now. Is it so difficult like in the beginning?
Oh, well, it's difficult in a different way, Flora.
Okay.
The beginning was difficult, but the difficulty in my life was having to round up $38 a month to pay rent. You know, having to do jobs that I did, you know, that was, now it's, the difficulty is having to support people all over the world.
Okay. Which
is a much better difficulty. Having to teach God's work to people that live in, you know, 20 different countries, you know, and it evolved through having to run a business, having a family, having this, it evolved through all of these things. To today, you know, it's really, the difficulty is how to sustain this. What I do is not an easy thing to do. And that's become the difficulty. I'd rather have this difficulty than having to figure out how to pay $38 a month rent and chase cockroaches in my apartment. You know, life changes. But that's the growth. You understand? That's the growth. You know, it used to be that even money, you know, it used to be to get, you know, money was, and then it became, you learn how to do it and you can make money. You know, you just learn how to do it. And at one point I had a huge business going on. I don't want that anymore because the bigger the business became, the more my expenses became. You know, I had, from going $38 a month, I'm paying $6,000 a month on a mortgage on a house that was like a palace that I was living in. I mean, this on top of a mountain. I had a 7,000 square foot house that I was living in. It costing me $6,000 a month, just the mortgage payment. And I said, what do I need this for? I'd much rather have the struggle of doing this with all of you, sharing God and my inner growth with all of you, than having to spend my time fighting with the art world to raise money, you know, to spend it on, you know, 6,000. I mean, it used to cost me $15,000, $20,000 a month to live there where I was living. So the difficulty changes. There's always difficulty. It gets more refined, you know? And you grow inside where you're capable of letting go of things so other things can come.
No. Oh.
But life will always be difficult. It's just the difficulty becomes more miraculous, more wonderful. It's, you know, I mean it. And what we think is difficult, you know, what we think is wonderful, sometimes not so wonderful. You know, great amounts of money, success, all this stuff, not so wonderful. I've had it, you know, and so what, you know?
I know. I know how it is.
So now it's a different kind of difficulty. But I'd rather have this, of being able to work in this kind of depth spiritually with people in 20 different countries that come to these classes, that hopefully can learn to grow through all of their karma and the stuff they have to work out in life. I mean it, you know? And just to finish all this, if you want that kind of creativity, it really exists inside every single person, every person. Because every person inside themselves is connected to energy that is infinite in the universe, energy that is creating everything in the universe. And when we connect to that energy gives us the power to do amazing things in life. And also to use whatever we do in life as an opportunity to learn how to get closer to God. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Could I ask one, Stuart?
Yes.
This feeling of gratitude, of love, I've been experiencing this. It feels like a sort of crush. It's like adrenaline, like my heart's waving a little bit when I'm meditating. A little is that something, or is it? Am I in love with you, Stuart?
No, look, when your heart opens, there's going to be energy. You're going to feel adrenaline. You're going to feel a lot different than when it's closed. A lot less heavy than people feel when their hearts are closed. Yes, you will feel adrenaline. You'll feel energy there. You'll feel sweetness there. You'll feel love there. It's a wonderful feeling. And just be grateful for it and let it grow. Let it grow, because that's really what this is all about. It's all this is about. And the only place you can find that is inside yourself. You can't find that. You don't find that anywhere in the world. You get turned on by things, you know, little successes, this, that, you know, but this permanent inner state of ananda, state of bliss, the state of openness, it exists inside. And that's where we have to go to build a system to find that. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, we'll have meditation again Thursday. I hope to see you all. God bless you for being here, for participating in this. I think this Zoom thing has become kind of a miracle. And I'm just very grateful to be part of it. As I say always, to share my life with you all. And go inside, you know, really. you not only will simplify your life will get more creative just by building that system inside yourself. So God bless everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Bye.